Bunnyhoppor in our next match coming up. He's taking on Seiko. You can see below the picks and bans that Divine Shield around one of the classes means that it was protected prior to the match. It was ineligible to be banned on the other side. So for Bunnyhoppor, he's protected his Shaman. This has been a mainstay for him. Casey literally just talked about this.
That makes sense, yeah.
He's had his Priest banned away. On Seiko's side, he has protected Priest, and he has had his Shaman banned away. Which, again, this is like the other thing that Bunnyhopper's been doing is banning Shaman. He has a ton of respect for that deck, and so far on it, he is undefeated in Grandmasters when he is piloting a Shaman list.
And I mean, he's still the person innovating on that list. You know, Witchwood Piper is a pretty recent addition to the Quest Shaman list, and you can thank Bunnyhoppor and that random guy in chat for it.
Yeah, and you can also, I don't know who to thank for this one this week, but there has been 4 copies of the Stormbringer that has been included in Grandmasters this week. Casey, Bunnyhoppor, RDU, and Board Control. It's important to note that Board Control is playing an aggressive Shaman list, not a Quest Shaman list. But for Bunnyhoppor, he's omitted the Witchwood Piper this week, and he's included a copy of the Stormbringer instead. And so this is something I have my eye on, is how important this card is, how vital is it to matchups, and what its true specific purpose is. You mentioned Druid, and I'm curious about that.
Yeah. Well, it's actually kind of new to me as well. I haven't really been seeing this Quest Shaman list, so the European guys are a step ahead, if you will.
Specifically, Casey and Bunnyhoppor.
Yes, yes.
And I guess Board Control this week as well. We played that aggro Shaman yesterday. I couldn't beat that thing.
It's really good.
It was really good.
It's really good.
I can't wait to see Boar's match. He's playing next versus Boston. Right now we're in Game 1. Bunnyhoppor taking on Seiko. Kicking things off with Control Warrior for Bunnyhoppor taking on the Combo Priest of Seiko. And for Seiko, this is an important match. He sits at the bottom of the rankings right now, and he needs a win to try and stave off that relegation.
Control Warrior is traditionally seen as a bad matchup for Priest. However, the win rate in GM doesn't really reflect that. Priest actually has about a 50-50 versus it. In fact, it's slightly favored versus it. Seiko starts off with one of the best possible hands in the game.
Well, go on, elaborate.
Well, he has Northshire Cleric, which is the best card, and then he has the second Northshire Cleric, which is also the best card.
Makes sense to me.
Those are good cards. The reason they're good is because, I mean, look at what's going to happen in this game. Bunnyhoppor is going to play for tempo, which is correct. You want to play your town card on turn 1. You got to contest stuff. Seiko can just go coin Northshire into a Neverset Ritualist off the top, draw 4 cards, still have board, still have clerics in play.
Well, let's talk about what he's worried about. You know, Bunnyhoppor does have a bit of a different list this week. He's included a copy of Archmage Vargoth, and they've moved over to 2 Omega Assemblies this week. But he also has 2 Weapons Projects.
Yes, Weapons Project right now is the biggest issue for Seiko, and I don't even think it's that bad.
So the question is, would you rather have a Northshire Cleric on board to contest alongside it, or would you rather have a Power Word Shield?
I think you'd rather have a Northshire Cleric, because in the instances where they do have it, you aren't really getting that punish. You can still play a Neverset and cycle towards better cards. And if they don't have it, you are in the driver's seat this game. If they do not have Weapons Project,
to the moon.
They are at a disadvantaged state. About as disadvantaged as you could possibly be on turn 2. Yeah. Your opponent drew 4 extra cards over you, and they have like 3 mana worth of stuff in play.
So I guess that's the question for Bunnyhoppor. You saw him, you know, hands over the face, like, okay, I need to really dig deep on this one, because for Bunnyhoppor, he always pretty much takes his time. But now he's got his work cut out for him. He's having to visualize what cards get him back into this game.
I think Eternium Rover is a good starting point. Might be just a card you play this turn.
Goal to keep Weapons Project as an option.
From Bunny, there's a couple cards off the top that he desperately wants. Shield Slam, Snip Snap, especially Snip Snap. Man, this is just so good. A River Croc that draws 4 cards and heals 2 minions to full.
Yeah, that's good.
Bunnyhoppor still can't play his Restless Mummy. He still needs something off the top. Snip Snap, I'm thinking, is probably his best bet. Shield Slam, not half bad.
Not half good either.
Just half.
Yeah, half something.
2/3 bad.
Yeah.
1/3 good. The glass is half full of Shield Slams.
I mean, the glass is half full of Shield Slams here. It's got half of something else in it, though.
It's a bit awkward for Bunny. He would need to hit a minion in to get the armor up. He could hit a cleric and then shield slam the same cleric if he really wanted to do that.
That's what I was looking at. My head told me Omega Assembly first.
Yeah, I think I'm settled on that being probably the best use of resources here.
I'm also tempted to use an armor up and shield slam and like poke one of the Northshires and then hit the bigger one with it. Start chipping away at board and prompt Seiko to have to spend his mana if he wants it topped up.
I think this is a really difficult turn for Bunny, and it will not matter 99% of the time. Is how I'd phrase it.
Well, his hand's pretty good.
Counterpoint. Bunny has 4 cards in hand. Seiko has 8.
Yeah, I mean, Bunny's going to need a pretty strong sequence of draws. But that's where you have a chance, is when you have draws that can get you back in the game.
Give yourself outs.
Exactly. And when you're thinking about Warrior, I'm thinking about Brawl. Always thinking about Brawl.
I guess from Seiko's side then is can he just force out a Brawl while still having resources? Based on his current hand, it's a little bit sketchy, but again, he has so many draws and potential that I don't think he's really that worried about Brawl right now. At least one copy of it.
Right now, no. I mean, Seiko's certainly thinking about Restless Mummy.
Yes. I think that's your biggest issue. You've seen a Town Crier this game. There is a higher than 2/3 chance that it's there. Based on the fact that he could have gotten a Ziliax instead.
Well, what's the higher than 2/3? Oh, I guess
He could have
natural
just drawn,
order.
yeah,
Okay,
naturally drawn it. If he had drawn a Ziliax, it got it. If he drew a Restless Mummy, he got it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So it's just very likely.
Now, my instinct in Psycho's spot was injure Tolvir and Power Word Shield.
I think he wants to just make Restless Mummy a non-factor, and this way he does a pretty good job of that. He's still going to have a Cleric afterwards.
It's just a different way to make the Restless Mummy a non-factor.
Yes.
Keep your Cleric healthier for the future. So for Bunnyhoppor now, Dynomatic drawn. Second one in hand.
Dynomatic is really good with another Dynomatic. We talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
Where when you have a double Dynomatic, that's a good play.
You were referring to Reno the Relicologist.
Which is just double Dynomatic. So we have one Reno the Relicologist in hand.
Well, half. The glass is half full of Reno the Relicologist.
That's a really good volumetric measurement. One Reno is worth 2 Dynamatics.
Yeah. I think that should replace the term leader.
Yeah. European measurements, terrible.
Well, they're pretty accurate.
Why would you say that to me, Admiral?
No tune can hold me.
There's this one guy in Twitch chat that every time I'm on, he says, I knew Gallon ever since he was half
Can
point,
hold me.
which is also another measurement.
That's a big draw.
It's big in the sense that as soon as he gets an inner fire.
I mean, yeah. You
Does he have the inner fire, though?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But it's still a big draw.
It's coming.
Enablers of combos, like you are now one draw away from a very critical mass style of spot to be in.
Yeah, I mean, and Seiko also has the pressure to follow it up. He's not in a spot where he's going all in right now. Next turn, he has something like a Psychopomb that the Bona has to clear it.
He's got Bonsomnia on 7.
Yeah. There's
Pick up the
a
rest of your
little
minions.
issue with turn 6 currently, but he's going to find a bunch of cards here.
Well, I'm seeing less issues with turn 6 now.
Yeah. That's how drawing cards. That's why drawing cards is really good.
And I'm seeing an issue with Dynomatic right now. It's not Reno the Relicologist, and it really needs to be.
It really needs to be. So assuming that this 3-2 dies from the Dynomatic, I'm sure Bunnyhoppor is going to play the Dynomatic. Assuming it dies, we've got a 1-4 in play. Circle into Inner Fire. How much damage is that? It's 28, right?
Circle would bring the Priest up to 7. It would go to 14. Go to 28.
Yeah. So Bunnyhoppor is still in comfortable territory. He's not going to die.
The only way he would die is Circle, a 1-mana 2-health buff, and
Circle
Topsy.
into Shield. Circle into Shield does it, right?
Yeah, or like,
There's like a
Beaming Sidekick with Topsy.
Well, Beaming Sidekick doesn't work because he would also need the... From Psycho's side, he would need to get 3 cards in a row.
It's a lot of cards he needs.
And I think he's already played 2 shields this game, so
I wonder.
it's unlikely. Psycho's perspective, you just want to load up the board as much as possible. I think the worst case scenario would be the second Dynamatic. Warpath is also a consideration. So if there's a play that plays around both Warpath and Dynamatic, that's probably where you want to be.
You got to think about turn 6 as well. Maybe it's too complicated. Just playing for the strongest now against opposing.
Still plays around Dynamatic to some degree. You're going to have an X1 in play afterwards.
Topsy.
That's a Topsy. Now, we didn't get the circle and we didn't get the shield. So
This game is... Ooh, I'm so nervous.
Bunny is not dead, but there is a lot of damage coming at him Psycho side if he leaves a minion in play.
Yes. And guaranteed he's considering that right now. But I think that given his hand, he doesn't necessarily have the liberty to act on that. I'm curious when this brawl is going to come down.
I think if Bunny can try to set up a Beryllium Nullifier for next turn instead of Brawl, like if he could just make it so that he's still playing for board without using his key resource, that's probably where he wants to be. Like, best case scenario here, you have a mech that lives.
Best case scenario is you have 2 mechs that live.
That's unlikely.
Very unlikely. However,
I like the choice. I think that's what he's going for.
Light the fuses!
Oh, that is 28 damage.
you leave your guy weak, though.
1 mana more, Bunnyhoppor would be dead this game. From Psycho's side, I think that means I really want to play this Never Set Ritualist if I can.
Oh, boy.
Can I talk to you about something that I don't think is
That's what
very
you're
common?
here for?
Well, something that I want to point out is that Topsy-Turvy plus Silence is a really cute combo. Obviously, the Silence is in hand right now, but like it's a good talking point. Where,
Oh, like with this at 4-1, you can Topsy Silence.
yeah, you Topsy it down to a 1/4, and then you Silence it, and since it's technically at full health, it'll just go back to a 4/7
Yeah.
again. There's some cute lethals you can get with that.
Psycho's...
Oh, that's a good
boy.
one.
All right, I feel like we have maybe officially branched into Brawl territory. I think it's exactly what Psycho was thinking about, going, you know what, if
Doesn't matter.
Bunnyhoppor brawls, I get to play Bronzomdi, and the threat is real.
Yeah, I mean, even, like, it's just so unlikely. There's outcomes where if he loses the brawl, Psycho immediately wins.
True story.
There's 2 outcomes.
All right, so the choices here for Bunnyhoppor: try and win a brawl. You would clear off the Ritualist. I'm sorry, the Injured Tolvier ahead of time. Number 2 is Nullifier and ignore the fact that Psycho could have the giant damage to win the game outright.
If you're going to start this turn, I think you would start with trading both of the 3 attack minions into the 2/6. It's just a minor optimization on the brawl line. There's going to be a 2/1 left anyways, so your minion's going to have to attack anyways if it gets through.
That's the question of the Nullifier, right? You could ignore combo damage.
What now?
Is that going to give you a higher win rate? You know, we're staring at combo damage. We know what happens if Bunny nullifiers. He does not.
Yeah. What I'm saying is just on the brawl line, the best way to do it would be to attack first. That's
Of course.
Yeah. Sometimes it wouldn't. Maybe you'd want to push the 3, but since it has Reborn, it's coming back. You gotta... He's going for
Yeah.
it.
I think, honestly, from Bunny's perspective, I think ignore the combo damage actually yields him the best chance to win.
It's a difficult decision. Doesn't pay off here.
Does not. Psycho's going to take game 1.
With a commanding early game. 2 mana, 2/3, draw 4 cards from your deck. I play that in most of my... I play that in every deck.
Yeah. I would too if it was available. Honestly, I might play this in every deck if it was available too. This is a lot of damage.
Yeah. Just play 4 priest decks. Get in there. Injured Blade Master is sharing the love.
Wow. That's not how I would put it. Psycho, though, critical game win for him. As his record right now is on life support. You saw it. He sits at 2-8 right now at the bottom of the division. And this match win would, put the onus away from him and onto Fino to start fighting for that spot, because players at the bottom of their division are going to get relegated. And so for Seiko, that has really been the prime storyline for him, is that this season has not been like his first. It's been quite the opposite. And if you're going to stay in Grandmasters, the only way to do it is to keep winning matches.
I think it's pretty critical, especially to get a win against something that isn't Bunnyhoppor Shaman. We were talking earlier about how good he is at Quest Shaman. So if Bunnyhoppor gets another deck through, that could just be lights out.
Yeah, and so Priest out of the way now for Seiko. He's got Warrior and Druid left to battle with, so that's what we're looking forward to. And honestly, against those two, I am liking Bunnyhoppor's chances. Druid, Shaman, and Warrior of his own. We got to go to a break. When we come back, though, we're jumping into game number 2 of Bunnyhoppor versus Seiko. Stay tuned.
Legends say powerful treasures are hidden everywhere here in Aldum.
If we hope to defeat Rafam, we'll need as many as we can get. He's already unleashed the ancient plague lords and countless monsters. Keep them distracted, Reno.
Not a problem. This plan is totally gonna work. Ain't that right, Finley?
Oh, yes! I have them right where I want them.
There is an artifact here. The name is...
The Scales of Justice. Oh, it must be really fancy.
only to be used in a time of great peril. Yes, I think this qualifies.
Hey, look, Finley! You've lured one of the Plague Lords!
Take this, fiend!
In the face! Yeah! Hey, guys! Get that treasure! We've got a Plague Lord to destroy!
Yes, please, hurry! Not to worry, Finley! We'll just push this thing right here.
No, that's a trap! Watch out!
It's all good. I am totally timed.
Gracious me!
What we actually need to do is press this. And there. A fish.
No! It's the Scales of Justice! Oh. Ah! Who wants to use it first?
Ooh, I do! Me! On second thoughts, maybe give it to Finley?
All you had to do was hold a rope.
Here we go, blaming the tall, ruggedly handsome guy again.
I'm George Webb, known as Board Control in-game. So my name, Board Control, you would always say this player has board control when you're casting something, and if there's a Stone Chest board on board, suddenly that player has board control. The memory that stands out to me from Hearthstone has to be my first tournament victory, which was at Seat Story House Cup 10. I had to face off against Orange in the semi-finals, Chansifka in the quarters, Fino in the round of 16, so it was a pretty stacked event, and then facing Casey in the final, winning that tournament, that really stands out as the main memory. I like to play decks that get on board, and you have swing turns, and you have trades, lots of trades on the board, you try and get an edge in that sense. I'm also open to playing lots of other decks like combo decks too, but in general in Hearthstone, spending your mana and playing a guy has been the best play you can do. In Grandmasters, I want to do well. It's a new format, best of 3, so it's going to be more difficult to get an edge, but I'll try my best to find that edge and do as well as I can in the tournament.
Welcome back to Hearthstone Grandmasters for Europe. It's the penultimate week, which means that we have one more regular season week left afterwards. I'm Nathan, that's Admiral Zamora, joined by Edward Gallon Goodwin. who's playing in Americas later this week as well on Saturday and Sunday. Right now, we're seeing Seiko off to a 1-0 lead against Bunnyhoppor, and I'm still liking Bunnyhoppor's chances in this one. I think he's got some decent matchups.
Bunnyhoppor's on his pet deck right now, and there is a card in there that I think will blow this matchup out of the water. He is a copy of the Stormbringer. We talked about this quite a bit. There's a lot of Europeans with Stormbringer in their Quest Shaman or Aggro Shaman deck lists. I can't wait to see what's going to do.
You've talked to me specifically about how you're feeling like it's good versus Druid. It's being able to prompt them to want to clear 1/1s and 0/2s and whatnot,
Yeah.
less the threat of a board of legendaries come out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the same reason that Mutate is so good in Shaman. It's just, it powers up all of your non-committal options. You know, if you just don't do stuff that's like threatening, and you have this card that says, oh, you still have to clear it, otherwise I'm going to win, they're going to have a tough time.
Like, Shaman already has that feeling of like the threat of power is its power, and I feel like that's being compounded when you add a copy of the Stormbringer to the deck.
Yeah, I mean, board clears are just so important in a game against Quest Shaman that if you can force them out against something where you don't care about it.
Yeah, and you can take a look and see below what the picks and bans were. Priest under the belt for Seiko right now, thanks to a double Norshire Cleric start. Drew 4 cards on turn 2. It was a sight to behold. You know, Bunnyhoppor did not pick up the win on his Warrior, which is, you know, they have, when I say they, I mean Casey and Bunnyhoppor. They've pretty much built their Warrior every single week with Priest in mind, and you can see nods to that with stuff like 2 copies of Weapons Project early on in the deck. You don't always get there, but when it works, it works. But for now, though, I think the biggest talking point that I have is just Bunnyhoppor and Shaman. He's undefeated with Shaman in Grandmasters so far. Undefeated. Has not lost a game with it. When is it going to happen?
Hopefully not here. That guy is smart.
Hopefully for Bunnyhoppor anyway.
Yeah, well,
If you're a Seiko fan,
If
like,
you're
you know,
Seiko-
if you're Seiko, you're
yeah.
pretty much hoping he loses.
man, I really hope Bunnyhoppor wins this game.
Oh, playing favorites, are ya?
Oh, I was talking to Seiko,
Oh,
sarcastically.
wow, that would be mean. Just say it to his face.
Just during the interview. I really wanted Bunny to win that game, though.
I cannot think of anything more rude.
Have you ever seen a 4-keep as good as this? It's a little bit awkward, right?
Once. I was sailing around the Arctic. Psycho's 3 keeps, or I'm sorry, 3 card hand, not too bad.
Nourish. Oh. This is just a turn 5 Nourish. You can go Innervate on turn 1.
Yeah.
You complete the quest. Turn 4.
Against a deck that isn't pressuring you from the get-go, this is the nuts.
Heck, you could Hero Power next turn, and it'd be fine. No, you couldn't. You'd have to wait until turn 5.
This, if you're Druid on play versus a non-aggro deck, this is the nuts.
It's literally even versus an aggro deck, Innervate Nourish on turn 5 is one of the ways you get out of that
It's
game.
a way to recover, yeah.
Zoo kills you around turn 5-ish, so if you just get a Wrath or something...
Or draw a bunch of Anubisath defenders.
Yeah, you're probably fine. I like the 4-keep for Bunny. I assume he 4-keeped. I did not see whether he mulliganed the Mogu or not, but it's the same.
Starting off with Evil Totem. I'm curious if this prompts Seiko at all. So, options for Seiko now. The old Innervate Hero Power. Keep your quest churning.
Problem with Innervate Hero Power is Innervate Nourish is so strong. We would give up that line on turn 5.
Yep. I think also with the Starfall draw, you are much less incentivized to attack little things on board.
Yep. And Starfall's going to be active. It's going to have the quest complete by the time you want to do it.
That's right. So if board's big, equals Starfall. If board's not big, equals Nourish.
Bunnyhoppor picked up a Mutate. Just want to point that out.
Ooh, Totemic Surge. Get this Evil Totem to work.
Totemic Smash or Totemic Surge. Totemic Surge is actually not that bad.
It's not. It's just 2 attack.
I kind of like it.
It's just free. They're just giving it to you.
Only kind of like it. But I kind of like it.
I super like it.
You'd swipe up. Never mind.
I guess from the perspective, I'm swiping down because if I
Well,
if
if
I
you
had
like it, you
Bunnyhoppor's
swipe right,
hand,
but if you super like it... Anyways,
well,
going
the point
back...
if you're looking at the game board right now, it has the Sturge is
Okay.
coming down if you're playing.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, so you'd swipe down.
Semantics. I'm sorry you're in Sottlestead right now. We argue semantics literally for the sake of it.
I was referencing something.
I know what you're referencing. You youngins today, your fancy technology.
Back in your day, you had to play Hearthstone uphill in the snow both ways.
You know, I have literally walked uphill in the snow to cast Hearthstone. Like, not hyperbole literally.
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 I'm proud of you. You made it.
Thanks, Dad.
No problem, son.
Looking at Questing Explorer for Bunnyhoppor. I'm curious if perhaps he wants to just get options churning, or if he'd rather have board presence. We've seen him a number of times play towards outcomes. Like, if he's thinking of a specific outcome that's good for Quest Shaman, he will take worse-looking turns hunting down that outcome.
I imagine if Bunny had any other lackey besides Kobold Lackey, he would be just jamming this Questing Explorer Kobold Lackey, but because it is probably the worst one to use, just
straight up
proactively, he might be looking at an evil Cable Rat line.
Get the Explorer in on a more efficient turn. You're trying to fill up that third mana.
I don't know, though. I really like just playing the Questing Explorer as a 2-3. Faceless Lackey would be the best here.
Ooh,
It's
that was pretty good.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Wants to play around swipe just a little bit.
Second Kobold Lackey. Now, I will say that the issue with Kobold Lackey is when it starts to compound on itself, that does become a good outcome.
Yes, when you have a lot of Kobold Lackeys, suddenly you're looking at, oh, Barista Lynching just deals 28 damage to my opponent or something ridiculous like that.
Takes a little bit of time, but you just have so much burn.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Bunny's at 3 out of 6 on his quest. He could complete an next turn if he wanted to, but he would need to play Questing and both Kobold Lackeys. One thing to keep in mind is
also
that
do
Seiko...
I want to point out that, because you mentioned playing all your battle cries, if he plays Questing Explorer and both Kobold Lackeys, he can also play Mogu and Mutated.
Yeah. I just want to point out Seiko also has a really interesting option here. He could go Coin or Innervate Oasis Surger, kill both the 1/3 end.
Oh, that's so good.
You take a turn off the quest, but it's okay because you're still going to be able to complete it by the time you want to Nourish.
Ooh, that's strong.
I think it makes a lot of sense. I like it a lot.
It is going right into Bunnyhoppor's Mogu this turn, though. So I will be curious to see how this gets navigated.
Mogu Flesh Shaper is 4 mana right now.
That's right.
Ugly mana cost, I would say. If it was 3, you could go Questing Explorer plus Mogu Flesh Shaper or Kobold Lackey at 3/2 plus kill the 3/3 and mutate.
So that's the question for Bunnyhoppor is what does this mean? And I think he's going to pay attention to board.
Kobold Lackey plus Weaponized Wasp is just
so clean.
Very clean, yeah. Seiko deviated, which means Bunnyhoppor has to deviate.
Keep parity.
Always got to keep in mind what the mana expenditures will be if you give them cheaper Mogu Flesh Shapers.
Yeah. That's something that players, in Season 1, we saw that with Sea Giant.
Yeah.
In this season, we're seeing it more specifically against Shaman. But we're going to see it with Sea Giant here as well today with Board Control.
Yeah,
Has brought Aggro Shaman. He's playing next.
Double Sea Giant.
And double Mogu Flesh Shaper.
Yeah. Mogu Flesh Shaper was the hidden gem of this expansion.
Well, I don't know if you recall in our card review, I said it was a 4.
And I did not say it was a 4.
Yeah. However, you said the quest was a 4, and I did not.
Yes. You know what? I'm going to revise my statement and say that I was dumb and bad.
Same.
Mogu Flesh Shaper was really good.
Same.
Is really good.
Quest is, it wasn't okay. It was really good.
Yeah.
Spawned an archetype.
3 mana, kill your dude, make an 8-drop.
That's it.
That gets the second one if it stays alive.
So that is an interesting spot. Akali the Rhino. It says overkill, draw a rush minion from your deck, give it +5/+5. I think for Bunnyhoppor that Starfall is a major concern. And so he tries to get something larger.
What's really funny about it, and I'm not going to say that it was correct at all. That's totally incorrect. But he could have just held a Mogu, mutated it, then traded the
it's
Akali.
not correct. But if he'd have done that.
If you had foresight.
Seiko goes to Nourish. The Elysiana sticks around for a turn. That's a big deal. With Hidden Oasis in hand, Seiko feels comfortable eating some damage.
Yeah, I mean,
Bunny has to look to capitalize.
Bunny's just set for fatigue here. He can just Bog Slusher his Elysiana. And he's got a Shudder Walk? Wow.
build a control shop.
Maybe a 7/7 in play is slightly better, though.
It's like those places where you build your own pizza pie.
But instead, you just...
I don't like those because I want, like, that to me defeats the purpose of going somewhere where they make food for me.
I wonder.
I like making my own food sometimes.
I do. I enjoy cooking.
Like Korean barbecue. Always a good time. You make your own food there.
Ah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like the experience of the experience.
Yes.
Okay.
But I think with pizza, it's just so common that
Yeah.
it's not that you know, fun.
I like making my own pizza. It just takes so much time.
Yeah. You know what doesn't take a lot of time? Hitting your opponent in the face for 10.
I feel like you haven't watched a Bunnyhoppor game then.
Maybe 11 if you get like a rush life if you're 12.
I think it's important to think about Bog Slosh or Titanic Lackey this turn. Like, how does it feel?
Makes a lot of sense.
I feel like for Bunnyhoppor, there's a pretty big priority in doing something like this. And if he's taking this long, to me, it tells me he's not going for a random outcome.
It's the most immediate tempo you can get. Generally, immediate tempo is the best thing you can do in Hearthstone. If you're playing in a match where both players care about board, immediate tempo is by far the most powerful thing you can do. You played a 3/3 and a 5/5, and you also buffed your thing by 4 health.
This was weak to War Druid Lodi.
War Druid Lodi's swipe specifically. He still has it out with Worthy Expedition for Lodi.
Starfall, that is. But yeah.
Yeah, Worthy Expedition, you play a Lodi, you Starfall the 5/5, kill everything, because the Lodi trades in.
That's right. I don't think Bunnyhoppor has the liberty of playing around stuff like that.
I don't think he really cares. I think he has a lot of strong follow-up.
He'd care. He'd care.
In the sense of, yeah, sometimes my opponent does good stuff. The good news is that I can still continue playing cards.
You're not dead. It's a true story.
You're very much alive. Not a Lodi. Is a hidden Oasis.
Yeah, it's tough to play Hidden Oasis when your opponent's just beating down the door with a 7-11.
You could still get a Lodi off the top. Maybe that's a little bit better.
Oh,
Doubt
you
it,
gotta
though.
do something. This is ending up in a bad state. Seiko running out of time.
I don't think there's many cards you'd
Goes
rather
this
play
order.
over Hidden Oasis, but it's still... I don't know. It's tough. I think he's still in a spot where Lodi is by far the best draw in his deck.
Hey, load is pretty much always a good draw.
Yeah, yeah. 3 mana, 4/6 Rush, Taunt, Divine Shield, Stealth, and Poisonous, and Spell Power +1. Oh, not Divine Shield. I apologize. It's pretty bad.
just has to find
Just add,
shield down.
and Wind Fury. Mega
Yeah.
Wind Fury. Yeah.
It's also got Death Rattle, create a 2/1 damaged golem,
Reborn?
magnetic.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to think of every keyword now.
We would not be great game designer.
Speak for yourself. I just made a minion that does everything.
Just
Design
admit that.
complete. We don't need anything else.
Does everything. It's like a really awful Zephyrus design.
Yeah, it's James Franco. Does everything.
He's a lot of Kobold.
Yeah, I mentioned that they get more and more dangerous. Interesting with the trade-in over the Totemic Smash.
I think he pushes slightly more damage this way if the 3/3 connects. He pushes 1 extra.
So he's looking at turnover damage.
Yeah.
How common is it? How often do you look for situations like that?
I think in spots like this, it wouldn't really come into play. I think I'm just like so far ahead and such a commanding lead that 1 extra damage doesn't matter. But it's really, really important in those like nail-bitingly close zoo games or row games where every single point of damage that you push extra. I mean, Bunny's turn that turn, like to get 99% of the way there wasn't hard at all.
I mean, he's got the game here.
Yeah.
Wow. They both had super strong starts. Bunnyhoppor walked away with the better of it.
And I like what his approach was. You know, in the spots where you have a really good turn and not that many options, thinking is totally fine. You know, he landed on a line where he pushed 1 extra damage, over 2 turns.
Sometimes.
It's not that important. It's still really cool that he's thinking about that hard about specific things like that.
Because if you look at it, holding the Totemic Smash in hand hid some of that lethal interaction from Seiko in that spot.
That as well.
You know, he's going to account for lethals that are apparent with Life Drinker, with, you know, any bounce effects. He's going to think about Kobold Lackey, but he's rarely going to think about damage from hand, and especially at such a low mana allocation. You know, Lightning Bolt, Totemic Smash, that's about what it's limited to in terms of that Ethereal Lackey spot.
Lava Burst-ish, but like from Seiko's side, he's just, a lot of the times his highest outs are going to be, oh, I'm just not going to play around damage from hand.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that with Bunnyhoppor in game number 1. He said, I can't beat from hand damage. It's going to yield me too bad of a spot against everything else.
Yeah. And I mean, this is something that really good players at Hearthstone do. They try to lead their opponent down a line where they say, oh, if they have it, I'm just not going to win, so I'm just never going to play towards it. You know, Bunnyhoppor incentivized Seiko to play a Starfall that turn. Look what happened. He had exact lethal as his follow-up.
Yeah.
Seiko just couldn't play around.
It's like a trap.
Yeah, you lead them down the road, and at the end, there's a dead end that says Bunnyhoppor wins the game.
Yeah, you can lead a pro gamer to lethals, but you can't make a pro gamer play around it. Like the horse to water thing.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
So you're saying Bunnyhopper's a horse?
Well, he was the one leading, I guess, in this analogy.
Oh, that's fair. So Psycho's the horse.
Well, he's got to get to. He's got to get to do some work
here. This just
here.
in, Admirable thinks Seiko is a horse.
Well, he's got to race down the scenario now.
That's fair.
He's got to win this next
Racehorse.
game.
Yeah.
Yes, he's got to finish first at this point. If he keeps losing matches, the situation gets more and more dire for him. He's at 2-8. He's at the bottom of the division.
He's got to gallop to that finish line.
He's got 4 more matches, including this one.
Bunnyhoppor trying to win. Psycho has to say nay.
Bunnyhopper's on top. To him, from looking at it from an outside perspective, Bunnyhopper's fine. It doesn't matter if he wins or loses. For Seiko, he has to win.
This is
absolutely has to.
A do or die moment.
And Bunnyhoppor stays undefeated on Shaman. He's invincible on Shaman. I'm declaring it. He'll never lose again on Shaman. Ever. The year will be 2031. He will be undefeated with Shaman.
We really can't bring Specialist back at
Definitely
this point.
not hyperbole I'm talking.
Yeah. Really cannot bring Specialist back.
Goodness, I'm very worried for Seiko. Every single week I think it's been pretty apparent that as we approach relegation point, it's pretty darn emotional for me. All these players I've known for a number of years, I've gotten to know a lot of them personally. They're my friends, and watching them have to compete for high stakes, it's very entertaining and it's very thrilling. But it's feeling like that heartbreak is creeping towards me, and as every single week I watch it, I go like, whoo.
There was a point last
avoid the
year.
bad sets.
There was a point last year where I genuinely believe Seiko was the best technical player in Hearthstone. He was the best Shutterwalk Shaman player when that was still a combo deck focused on controlling the board, comboing out. Seiko just instinctively knew that deck, the ins and outs of it, better than anyone. Just a fantastic player, and seeing him in this position where he has to win to even have a hope of just not getting relegated is upsetting. We've got a Druid Mirror.
It's got to be someone, though.
Yep.
Druid Mirror. Gallon said it. What are your big talking points for this one? I feel like when I'm not on coin in this matchup, I am very worried.
You want an Innervate if you're on the play. I think that's really important. I also think Nourish is incredibly vital. At the end of the day, it's still going to be a tempo matchup, but Nourish is just so powerful. There it is. It's so powerful where if one player has a Nourish and the other doesn't, there's going to be like 1 or 2 turns where maybe they can keep fighting for tempo, but they're going to need to draw that comeback tool. See here, Bunny just playing the quest on turn 1. No Innervate, kind of upsetting.
Well, he's only got 1 copy.
He does have 1 copy.
Yeah, Casey and Bunnyhoppor, they've been on 1 copy for a while.
That's interesting.
I thought that same thing.
That always felt like a card that you just wouldn't cut. Just instinctually.
Well, I wouldn't.
Well, no, I mean, there's some cards where, it's debatable, but like Northshire Cleric, for example, in Priest, I'd just be like, you don't cut that. I'm not saying that Innervate is the same
Coin
thing as
Northshire, yeah, a small delta in power level.
Yeah, but it's just the card that is so intrinsic to what the deck wants to accomplish.
It feels core to the class.
Yes. What? And I'm sure there's a very logical reasoning on why you'd only want 1.
Well, there's a number of reasons, I think. You want to include more minions? You have a Zephyrus in the deck?
Yeah, I mean, like, you want to pack more value. Maybe you're playing against a bunch of control warriors, and you think, completing my quest early isn't the most important thing. I just want to have value the entire time. There's also matchups where it just goes so quickly that having an Innervate, maybe quest isn't your primary concern. We were talking about that with Priest.
Yeah.
Killing their stuff is just how you win that matchup.
Yeah. How do you feel about a 3-2?
Not so great.
How do you feel about a hero power?
Better. I guess, so my problem with the 3-2 is that it's not that it's bad. I don't think it's bad. It's just, I
Test
really
Crystal
like...
Merchant?
Yeah.
But go on.
The reason that I don't think it's bad is because, A, in the late stages of the game, a Power of the Wild in this matchup is like a barn burner. You can destroy, like utterly destroy people with extra attack and extra health. Like suddenly Starfall becomes way less of a problem. You might have a King Ferris in play, buff your entire board of stuff.
Just gives you a thing to do that's very powerful to offset what your opponent's
And
doing.
I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit biased here because there's no Crystal Merchant in Seiko's hand. So the argument that it kills a Crystal Merchant is a good one. You're a smart cookie.
I just play a lot of Druid. I play a lot of Druid. I play a lot of Warrior. I play a lot of Shaman. I played a lot of Warlock.
I feel like I've played a lot of Druid, but not specifically the Mirror. It's one of the few things that I don't play that much of because there's so many matchups where it's like Protect, Priest, Ban, Druid on either side. So like,
Oh yeah, I guess you have a much different perspective on it. Like you're specifically practicing tournament games.
yeah.
I'm specifically practicing everything else that everyone's doing.
Yeah. I'm not a caster, so the whole Mech Hunter, Mech Paladin stuff, not really my avenue.
Shudders to it. Speaking of Crystal Merchant,
That's a good draw.
this is when you become a caster. You talk about a card and it immediately shows up.
Didn't it show up and then... Oh, okay. No, you're right.
Yeah, so start talking about a card.
I mean, I think from Seiko's perspective, an Innervate here would be pretty good. You can go Innervate, Nourish.
He's playing 2 copies.
Yeah. So there's 2 of them. It's way more likely.
What to do?
Behold, jewels of the sands.
Seiko very worried about that when you saw him shake his head. Oh, are you ever taking a turn off?
Oh, I think Swipe's really good here. And speaking of Swipe...
Whoa!
Oh, that's crazy.
Wow, Gallon, how did you do that?
I'm just very impressed.
Seriously, though, like, do you take a turn off?
Yeah. That seems pretty strong. You're going to be taking a turn off anyways to kill the 1-4, right? Like, next turn, your best draw would be to swipe the 1-4.
Yeah, but you complete quest then, though.
Well,
Oh, you complete it next turn because you
Yeah.
don't have an Oasis. Oh. Okay. That's right. He was on coin this game.
Yep. So it's like, would you be swiping this 1-4 anyways next turn? And the only draw in your deck that would be punishing to this would be an Oasis Surger.
Exactly, Oasis Surger.
Yes. So you got the 2 and 22 for that to happen.
That's not necessarily true. Sometimes Innervate.
Because you can go Innervate, Nourish,
Yeah.
Ram.
You get to Innervate Nourish and you play the
Sure,
Anubis
so
Staff as well.
There's,
4 draws in your deck?
yeah.
That's a lot.
But you're denying your opponent a card draw. I think
True. We've seen players, for the most part, though, play strong to the draw. That's been an emphasis I've noticed of the top players, is they will do whatever they can to make their turn stronger next turn. They're like, oh, you're going to have a strong turn? Okay, well, let me find a stronger one then. Like, nobody tries to disrupt the strong turns by saying, I will answer this. They go, stronger!
Yeah,
and
off
you're
the
like,
top.
You're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Bunny really wishes he had the quest completed this turn. His life would be so much easier.
How do you feel about a Ferocious Vow?
He's got 2 of them. It's definitely not flipping this loop. So
Oh, no way.
it's the Ferocious Vow.
that's
But it's a
actually-
3/4. It's a spider tank.
I think it's impossible for him to play a Floop here. I think if you ran this iteration a million times,
Yes.
Bunnyhoppor would never play the Floop.
You do it once and then it just horribly backfire.
You want
And
to
be like,
see what it feels like.
that would never happen again.
Brand new season, rank 5 legend, draws the
Hey,
Innervate.
we were talking about this.
You were.
Well, you were, specifically. This specifically.
You mentioned it 2 turns ago. It showed up right on time. It actually showed up right on time.
This is what Seiko was playing towards. Paid off.
This and Oasis Surger, 4
Yeah.
draws.
So I guess the next step of the logic is, what would you be doing on 5 anyways?
Well, I'm looking forward now because that whole situation's lost. I mean, we're going down a completely different game at that point.
I think there's like another level to it, and just
Well, I'm looking at this level
Seiko got
right
to
here.
that next level.
To me, if I'm playing the 3/4, my head wants me to play the rest of the minions as well. It wants me to play Floop and it wants me to play Zephyrus. I can't tell you why. I'm just saying that's what my head wants to do.
I feel like from Seiko's side, he's just going to be taking some off turns here. He's got a bunch of Starfalls, a bunch of removal options, right? And if there's no Nourish from Bunnyhopper's side, that means he's probably playing an Oasis Surger.
Hey, Bunnyhopper's already got a ton of cards. Like, I feel like he wouldn't play Nourish if he had it here.
Yeah, so by all means, just hold off. Don't play for tempo this turn. Try to clean up the board with the Starfall, because every iteration I can think of with the Oasis Surger, it's just not going to be that pretty for...
It's just brutal for you.
Yeah. Alternatively, Wardrew, Lodi, Wrath. Potentially see play.
I feel like Lodi gets stronger.
You could always just like not attack with it. You can save it as a 4/6 stealth.
Yeah, for sure it would. I mean, in this matchup, I honestly like when players attack with their War Druid Lodi. If I'm not seeing them set up lethal, I'm like, oh, don't like that. That card's powerful.
Yeah, yeah. Attacking with it in a lot of cases is going to be incorrect. There's
Like,
going to be a better option.
It
for
always
but-
threatens a board objective for your opponent. It's always buffing spell damage, which allows you to do massive things.
and it's ridiculously hard to kill.
Yeah. Oasis Surger 1 checked. I'm seeing 2 more in Bunny's hand. Ancient of War. Available as a 10/10. You thought uprooting was the dream. Imagine both.
So the next turn you'd have a 4-mana 8/9. Is that right? Libidinous Flute plus 5.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it'd just
no.
be a 4-mana 8/9. So you do a Wardrew Lodi or Libidinous Flute Wardrew Lodi the following turn if you really wanted to.
So that tells me which one yields you most stats. And I think that would be Floop now into Lodi. However, does the Floop have a different purpose in the matchup?
Floop right now is going to be higher stats. Yeah, Floop Lodi seems very reasonable this turn.
That's the most stuff you can do, but is that the best plan for Floop?
You're talking about stuff like Cenarius later in the game.
Yeah.
I guess my logic here is tempo now is just almost always better than tempo later
Waits for no one.
in these kinds of spots.
Yeah.
I think we've transitioned to the point where both players are going to start fighting for board pretty hard.
Could also just not Lodi as well.
He's digging for a specific card.
I think so, yeah. I wonder what kind of card that is, actually.
Nourish. Even though it looks pretty unwieldy here, I would say.
So he's kind of doing like a dual purpose thing here, where he's like, I know I'm probably going to need Nourish this game. I can do stuff,
I think that's a
and
good
I
thing
can
to
filter
ask him.
Nourish.
When we get to the interview, I think it's a good thing to ask him what he's specifically searching for off of that.
Well, he
ferocious
seems
spell.
unhappy about this turn. It's very rare that Bunnyhoppor will show emotions like that.
If you play the Wardrew Lodi now, you're definitely trying to set up for a Cenarius, right? If you go for the Oasis Surgers plus the Lodi.
Goodness, this game is tough for Seiko. He's had all his He's had all reactive cards this game, like even despite Nourishes. Plural. S.
That's not quite a bad thing though. I feel like he's been in the reactive spot the entire time as well. It's not like it's been being forced upon him.
Did he have plural Nourishes this game?
Yes, that was the second Nourish.
Yeah,
he's
that
played.
was second Nourish.
It's funny because Bunnyhoppor
Wow.
is pretty close in terms of card draw, even though he's on the play, because that Crystal Merchant just stayed around for so many turns.
He also just has all the big stuff.
Yeah.
Like each one of his cards has been prompting Seiko to take
Yeah.
action off stuff.
Even though he didn't have the Nourish, I think Bunnyhopper's draw this game was quite reasonable.
Oasis Surger is a form of card draw.
I'm talking about the Crystal Merchant, man.
I'm just talking about the Oasis Surgers.
Card advantage.
They both do it.
Bunnyhopper's side, you have to assume he's looking for a line that leads into a Cenarius.
Which one's the strongest way?
Tempo equals good.
Also the cards.
I like the War Druid Lodi here.
No MCT on Seiko's side, so you're free to load up minions.
You're getting punished by very, very, very specific hands.
What hand punishes this?
A Zephyrus plus...
Active Zephyrus?
Yes, so you need an
Oh,
active
goodness.
Zephyrus.
That is a tall
Seiko
order.
could theoretically have it, right? It's not active. Seen an Innervate? Have we seen a Worthy Expedition?
No.
Did we see a Crystal Merchant?
Nope.
Okay. So there's no draw that guaranteed the Zephyrus here for Seiko, at least.
No.
Okay. Just something to keep in mind.
That seems about right to me.
A taunt would be pretty nice here.
No taunts.
Okay, it's not going to happen. But if the 3/5 lives, if the Organized Soul Priest lives, Hidden Oasis becomes a 6/6 deal 12 to your opponent. Okay, can I tell you something that's very embarrassing?
Yes, please.
Okay, when I was in Seoul, I was playing against a player named Arrowy. I was playing a match. I was like 7-3, doing really well. I had a Conjurer's Calling, right? And I Conjurer's Calling a 4-drop minion into a Auchenai Soul Priest and Omega Devastator. So I was doing really well. He had nothing in play. I was doing great. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to attach the Zilliax to my Omega Devastator. I hit him in the face, and I go from 27 to 18. I'm saying, and I also had like a +2 attack on it somehow. I'm looking at it. Oh, no, this is not great. He goes Whirlwind, Restless Mummy. I go down to 9. Restless Mummy attacks again. I go from 9 to 0. This happened in the span of 1.5 turns.
Well, this also happened in the span of 1.5 turns.
Thinking about just reverse lethals. Can he avoid getting blown out by like a Ferris Starfall?
That is massive. So much of this board sits above the Starfall range. And Seiko has to respond. But how?
I'm looking at trade the 2/1 into the 4/4, Starfall, another minion, trade the 6/5 into the 5/8. You're left with still a lot of stuff in play, but maybe you can like piece together something. You could also just avoid playing Feoris this turn. Like there's a much cleaner way to do this if you just swipe Starfall. I believe.
You yield initiative back over, though.
You do yield initiative. That's not great. You have seen the floop, so there's not going to be a Feoris or a Cenarius coming down.
So can you do like a halfway?
Oh, there could still be a Feoris coming down from Bunny's side, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there like a middle ground? It looks like that Seiko's looking for middle ground.
Innervate off the top. Probably
Ferris swipe.
that as well. Yeah. So that's the middle ground.
Whoa.
That's pretty good.
Whoa.
Oh my. You know what that does, right?
Overkill summon another.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't summon a copy. It doesn't work like Grim Patron. It wouldn't summon a 3/7. It would summon a 3/3 again. So the Amit would have to still be alive for that to work.
Bunny doesn't have any AoE.
He's 15 away. He's got 15 in play. His opponent's at 30.
I wonder.
I was looking at Hidden Oasis with double Anubisath this turn. What else could you do that's best alongside of that?
Power takes many.
He's going fishing. Zephyrus active.
That's critical. It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be relevant this turn.
It's going to be relevant how he sets up the next one, though.
Yeah. You deal 6 to something. I think you're right. You just play the 3/5s. There's some games where holding Anubisath defenders makes a lot of sense. Like if your opponent really wants to play Oasis Surger next turn, it might be better to just like not play Anubisath defenders into it. This game though, just play stuff.
2 Anubisath defenders holding the fort. Lodi hidden.
Zephyrus and Elise still not active on Seiko's side. You can do a lot of funky shenanigans with Starfall plus Power of the Wild. I think funky shenanigans is a good way of describing it.
I'll go fishing first.
Innervate doesn't really give you any additional good options.
The overkill is so funny.
How do you do it though? Because like there's a world you can make it an X4 if you want to trade an extra 2/7. Not sure if that's good, but you could like divvy up the power a little bit differently. I think just doing the cleanest way possible makes a lot of sense. The Starfall here though is brutal.
What does the Zephyrus give you in this spot, I wonder?
Twisting Nether, and you have spell power. You gotta remember that.
I forgot about the spell power, the double Starfall.
Yes, this is quite good. You might even not need to double Starfall.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it. I mean, the swipe's good enough.
Swipe seems more than enough, yeah.
Would you rather have the swipe? I can't see why.
Starfall is better for your Feoris. It's just a better board clear. You can threaten a lot more with an extra Starfall.
I agree. It's just more to the primary. The Lodi's still hidden. And Seiko, he fought back aggressively, but look what he yielded for that. Bunnyhopper's got more
he's
health.
6 cards left in his deck, and his Zephyrus is still not active. I wouldn't say that's like unusual, rare, but it is uncommon. He really needs this Elise to go off next turn. His plays become a lot easier, I would say.
I think that draw got it active. If it did not, Worthy Expedition would be the missing card. For Buddy now, I mean, how much can you load up here? Like, are you free to play your own King Ferris now?
You summon 4 things. They're all 6 drops and above.
3 things. Oh, you 4 with the Ferris.
Yes.
Yeah. The King. Big stuff. The buzzard's low, but I don't think you mind.
You can't complain about this.
No, you cannot.
Besides that, this is the turn to trade off the Lodi. I like it a lot. Still not active.
Yeah, Worthy Expedition then. I think it's the one missing.
Yeah.
If I'm recalling that correctly. My goodness.
This is just so awkward from Seiko's side.
Yeah, I imagine you're probably having to Lodi this turn.
You might have to just Lodi and trade it off. You really don't want to do that.
No, seriously, you
To
don't.
be fair, Seiko has used a lot of his reactive tools.
Yeah.
So the power level of the spell damage being hidden away, not as important.
Just kind of giving you the idea of the importance of utilizing the War Druid Lodi, though, is that you look at what's happened from Bunny's War Druid Lodi, you look at what happened from Seiko. Seiko's fighting from behind with his. Just doesn't have an option.
Just didn't have it until too late in the game.
Ooh.
Okay, so theoretically, both Worthy Expeditions could be bottom of his deck. And it'll be 2 cards left. His Zephyrus and his Elise will not be active.
It keeps happening. It's just bizarro Grandmasters for Europe.
That is a bizarre outcome.
Oh, you always just the opposite expectation. That's the one that happens.
Oh, man.
And so for Bunnyhoppor, I believe this game is pretty close to solvable. I just don't know who ends up on the winning side of it. You know, as it stands right now, Bunnyhoppor could accelerate to his own Chef Nomi. But I think his plan is to try and set up an Elise hand with that before Seiko's able to play his own Chef Nomi.
Bunny's just... I feel like he's just too far ahead now. Seiko's always going to be doing the same thing Bunny's going to be doing, but from a turn behind. Like, Bunny could just go...
Set up the Elise.
Yeah.
Why not burn a card? Your hand's pretty perfect.
You got everything you need. There we go.
Oh, that's a question for you. Do you copy the Worthy Expedition, or do you copy what you get off of it? Well,
Generally, I think when you're behind, you want to copy. When you're ahead, you want to copy the Worthy Expedition, and when you're behind and you need a high roll, you want to copy what you get off Worthy Expedition.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's going to be a good card, and you need 2 of them. It's more likely to get 1 and then copy it than get 2 off the Discover effect.
Need a hand, Explorer?
And just like that, we're back to full hands on each side.
The game's just starting, Admirable.
The game is just starting. That is very true. We had that whole early game thing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. The 12-turn mulligan phase.
I still want to point out, Seiko is always going to be doing what Bunny's doing, but from a turn behind. So he's got to play reactively with a proactive hand.
Well, the thing about that, though, is he does get to land the first Chef Nomi, if that's the case. Unless Bunnyhopper's just willing to burn 3 cards, which I'm guessing, honestly, might be the case, but there's so much to consider here.
You also got to consider that your opponent has 2 Zephyruses. So trying to go for the early Nomi for both of these players isn't that relevant.
Well, what's relevant then?
This is just a weird spot. I feel like you want to play for tempo. You want to force out the Zephyruses. You want to force out their reactive stuff. Once you see both Zephyruses, suddenly you just land a Nomi. You get 7 6s in play. They can't have an answer. As long as they have Zephyruses, they have an answer for the Nomi.
That tells me advantage Seiko then.
You think that Seiko... Well, I disagree with you because I think that Bunnyhoppor can force out the AoEs before Seiko can.
I don't know. I was looking at Scenarios being pretty good.
Ooh, this is going to be... I imagine that it's going to offer the Black Knight.
I don't think he's going to play a Zephyrus this turn.
If he did play a Zephyrus?
We'll offer you ways to kill that, yeah. Oh my.
If you're playing Scenarios this turn, does that mean you want Oasis Surger or Oasis Surger for next turn? At the same time, you could also have Oasis Surger Starfall. So now it just becomes... This seems like an almost mathematically solved game.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's like, but how could you do that in 1 turn?
It's just so much.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Like, you've sat in that seat before. You know what it's like to look at your position and be like, I know I can figure this out, but I can't.
Some are... You can figure it out. Some are just like... You need to look like 6 turns ahead to like do all of the math.
It's too complicated.
It's just too complicated. I think he settled on a pretty decent line. Playing Scenarios makes a lot of sense. You're trying to fight... You're trying to fight your way into a position where you're the one with the lead. You're the one with the tempo advantage.
So Bunnyhoppor knows it's a pair of Scenarios.
Yeah. He should...
I mean, his primary concern has to be fighting off Scenarios, number 2.
He doesn't know the entire context of the hand, but he should have a very good read on what it is.
Yeah.
Like 90%.
That to me means use that hidden oasis, keep the 5-10 top, or sorry, keep the 10-10 topped up. That's a good way to fend off Cenarius.
I'm out of cards.
And I'm seeing it now. Bunnyhoppor, because he's ahead in fatigue and because he's got the 10-10s, he sits back and he says, I'll use my Zephyrus to answer the board position twice.
Yes. He needs the 2 Zephyruses to answer both of the Nomis.
And eventually wins in fatigue.
I think so. I mean, he has his own Nomis as well, so Seiko would also not be able to play his Zephyruses.
Yeah, exactly. That means Seiko has to either find lethal with Zephyrus.
So you wonder if Seiko's now in a position where he needs to force out a Zephyrus. Is there a way that he can force that? That should be his game plan now.
I think it's what he's been attempting, and it's not been successful thus far.
Just play your biggest thing.
Oh, you know what I'm looking at, actually? First Zephyrus, can you get Soul of the Forest?
I don't know, man. I still think that the Bunny might... Oh, with Worthy Expedition, he now has a lot of answers. But without that, like, his plays were getting pretty weak.
I mean, I said that. I thought I said Seiko had the advantage with what you mentioned. Forcing out the AoEs first.
It's still. I feel too close to call. It probably isn't too close to call. If you ran through this scenario 100 times,
I'm just telling you what my instincts, my gut tells me, because that's what the players are going off of in this spot.
Right.
I don't know. You know what that feels like. I've watched you make gut plays before. You kind of like look around and you're like, oh, I don't know, but this one seems good.
We're the ones working with perfect info right now, like keeping track of everything that both players have.
Yeah. By the way,
when
we
you can't
don't have a
even
lot
see
at
them.
stake.
What?
I'm not getting relegated after this game. Not the options that he wanted to see. I guarantee you wanted more reactive stuff.
Well, the Oasises are pretty good, though. So like, if you think about Seiko's tools, it's lining up nicely versus the Oasis Surgers. The Starfall that's left, like, it's still pretty decent against that. You get to hit something and heal this up. Like, it's not the best, but it's working.
It like toes the line whether it's good enough or not. Hidden Oasis is comparable to Mage.
So now the fatigue sets in for Seiko.
I imagine this game, the fatigue won't matter until it's like, it's done. As long as they keep playing cards, I don't think the fatigue will matter. Does that make sense?
The key to me here is that the Seiko sets in for fatigue first. He has to win the game.
Yes.
He is not prompted to run Bunnyhoppor out of resources, I don't feel.
Yeah. It's more of a, it's like the inevitability is in Bunnyhopper's favor.
Sort of. If you look at the hand context, though, Bunnyhopper's got 2 Nourishes in hand. Psycho's got a bunch of minions in hand.
I wonder if the problem... So, is Zephyrus really... Zephyrus Savage Roar is actually looking pretty good then. If he has Oasis Surge or Zephyrus Savage Roar, maybe you can set up a world where...
Bunnyhoppor has to AoE, and you get to land a Nomi.
Yes.
That was trying to get to that point
yeah.
earlier. Was my kind of gut instinct was, can you get a Soul of the Forest turn, and then have a Zephyrus offer you a Bloodlust?
How much damage would you need to have in play? So the 2/2s, if you have 6 in play, that's 12, plus 18, that's 30. So you need 7 in play for 35.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the exact math
you
on
need
it.
like you need 7 in play, potentially. Oh, well, at that point, if you just deal 30 to your opponent, I mean, he has a hidden Oasis, so it's difficult. Does this force
cranked
action
out a lot. That's a lot of damage.
This seems like it might force out action. We have Zephyrus as a follow-up.
And Bunnyhoppor has to respect this amount of damage on board. You will die to what Zephyrus can offer.
It's starting to look like Bunnyhopper's going to lose this game.
I wonder.
So it came down to whoever had the tempo advantage. Whoever could force out the first Zephyrus is the one in the driver's seat.
That's what it felt like, yeah.
Now there's still some
What to do?
like asterisks on that, I would say. You want your own Zephyrus as well. Like, you need to have your own Zephyrus to force it out. If you play your Zephyrus at any point, then your opponent will not have to worry about that Bloodlust or Savage Roar.
Then they could just go full steam ahead.
For no
Yeah.
one. Your wish
Yeah,
is my
that's bad news for Bunny.
And it seems like from here, Seiko just can go Nomi into Nomi.
Steam ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Hang on. Proactively take the Twisting Nether.
Huh.
So Bunnyhoppor knows that he's going to
This
use
is
Twisting Nether this game. So
Oh, I love this. This is so smart.
Yeah, this takes the turn off. It
Yes.
starts to fight back for tempo. And so now,
Dude, Bunny is so good at this game.
Seiko still doesn't necessarily want to play Anomi. My gosh, like that was powerful play. Play the Nomi, force it.
Do you try something burning?
So there's a little bit of an awkward scenario here where if Bunny wants another Twisting Nether, he would have to play the first Zephyrus. I don't think he really needs to do that.
What to do?
Unless he wants to have a guaranteed Nether, but I think if he plays it against a board of 6/6s, he should be fine to get another anyways.
Why wouldn't Zephyrus give you a Twisting Nether here if you played the other one?
No, it would, but he
Oh.
would want to play it afterwards. He'd want to go face, play the Nether, play the Zephyrus.
I think that's his plan, right? Was to get chip damage from the Zephyruses.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying that you would not really be able to fit the Zephyrus in on this specific turn. That's all. You'd have to play the Zephyrus second to have it stay alive, and there would be nothing in play, so yeah.
You cannot end the turn with Zephyrus. I see what you're saying. I
Yeah.
see what you're saying.
Time waits for no
I
one.
don't think that's a huge deal. You missed out on the 3-2, but
So
Yeah.
the whole plan of this was get 3 damage from that
but
Zephyrus.
then you wonder if the Hidden Oasis turned the tide back in favor of Seiko. Because yes, he's behind in fatigue. However, he has 24 extra life to play with.
Does he, though?
Yeah.
Bunny's going to be going into his own Nomi turns here pretty soon. So, like, for instance, Seiko plays Nomi here, right?
Yep.
Accepted. Bunnyhoppor responds. Zephyrus Twisting Nether.
Yep.
Seiko takes fatigue hit for 4, falls to 17. Your hand is double Zephyrus, double Hidden Oasis. Bunnyhopper's going to take 5 more over those 2 turns and drop to 21. So you'd have 9 damage in play, facing down Bunnyhoppor taking 4 on the following turn.
So what you want to do is you want to be able to set up a play where you go like Chef Nomi this turn. The following turn, you play as if there's a way to set up where you get 2 Zephyruses to give you lethal.
Yeah, so to me,
And Zephyrus does recognize that your opponent's taking fatigue damage.
I believe so.
Yes. So is there a world where you play Nomi this turn, you go like Zephyrus plus, and what's the best 8 drop? It's not Tyrion.
Well,
for
I was
me.
thinking Hidden Oasis yourself in Zephyrus, right?
You play a Crystal Merchant as well that way. You just get an extra 1/4 in play.
It's possible. It's not like Bunnyhoppor can ignore that.
Wish is my suggestion.
This is weird, man.
Blizzard offered? Can you do anything weird with that?
Well, not this turn.
Okay, no, he doesn't have anything else in hand he can cast alongside Blizzard ever
So-
and do anything about it. All right, so Psycho's Court.
Okay, what about... I'm just trying to think. Like, could you go Crystal Merchant, Zephyrus, Edwin?
Wish is my suggestion.
Does that do anything? No, because you won't be able to get the correct thing.
Put your faith in the light.
So now Bunnyhoppor takes a fatigue hit, drops to 19. He's facing down 9 on the other side.
He can Blizzard
He can Zeph
or
Blizzard.
Frost Nova. Does that do it? It does, right? Blizzard should guarantee you the win. Does that mean Bunny has to play the Ancient of War? And if he plays the Ancient of War, Zephyrus can... Yeah, Seiko found a way to win this game.
I believe so, yeah. I believe this is checkmate.
But that was...
I mean, a lot of it boils down to, the Zephyrus offer. I'm trying to think if there's lethal stuff. I'm pretty sure it just gives you Blizzard, though.
With 9 damage in play, you could Wind Fury the 6/6.
That's 15.
That's 15. How
Bunnyhopper's
much-
taking a fatigue hit of 3, I believe, next turn.
If it's 4, that would just be lethal. If it's 3, then we're playing another turn of Hearthstone.
Yeah, Bunnyhoppor, I think, sees it.
Time waits for no one.
He knows he's going to get Frost Nova, Blizzard, something bad's going to happen. Shadow Flame as well. Oh, it definitely offers Shadow Flame here. Down to 12. Plenty of health.
Yeah.
Your wish is my
Wow.
suggestion.
That is so sick.
Oh, doesn't Gorhal just do it?
That'd be 7 plus 6. That's
Yeah,
13.
that's just
plus
lethal.
3. Fatigue at a 3. Wow. What a game.
We were talking about Blizzard.
There's so many good ones, and that one's good enough. Oh, I'm sorry,
taking
taking 5.
Wow.
Whatever,
It was way
they all
over.
work.
Yeah.
Psycho picks up a crucial win, takes down the top player in the division to stave off that relegation spot. He moves to a 3-8 record now and unties that last place spot. He gets out of the way now. He's like, whew, okay, the onus now back on Fino to make something happen. And so for Psycho, this was a must win.
Yeah, he put the ball in Fino's court. And honestly, the end game of that last game that we saw, the Druid Mirror, I thought was fantastically played by both players, but especially Psycho. I thought Psycho understood every single turn, how do I force this game plan of just like getting rid of the Zephyruses, making a board, winning the game. As soon as the Zephyruses were gone, that's when he wins. He figured out the lines.
Yeah.
And I wanna shout out Bunny because I also think Bunny did a great job of that one turn, like delaying that terrible outcome of having to use the Zephyruses. He took an extra off turn by just not playing the Twisting Nether, by wrathing, but still Psycho found a way to win.
Yeah, I mean, that's I think where Psycho's strength has been demonstrated is when it's a strong, like long-winded tempo battle. He has tended to win those.
Yeah.
And in spots where he's not favored to do so, we've seen him tempo out, minions that it looks very unconventional. But he's walked away successful at times with that. He just hasn't picked up the matches. But this one, he picks a big win. And so Psycho's ready for an interview. Psycho, can you hear us?
Yeah, hey guys.
Hello, and congratulations on this one. This was a critical win for you to try and stave off the relegation spot now. You put the ball back in Fino's court to make something happen. But talk to me about this match. Grandmasters has been looking kind of tough. So how are you feeling right now?
I'm pretty scared before I play each match because I know that a lot comes with the queue order. So I also analyzed all the games from Bunny as well. So I kind of expected him to protect Shaman again and just try to win with Shaman and Druid. So I didn't expect him to queue Warrior game 1. So he got favorable game 1, so that was kind of scary because if he wins that, he kind of always wins with the Shaman anyways. So
we've been hearing a lot of talk from Casey and Bunnyhoppor. They play together a ton, and they think that Shaman versus Priest is actually a pretty decent matchup for Shaman. What are your thoughts on that matchup?
I don't think it's that great, but I do think that Shaman farms Druid.
Do you think the addition of the Stormbringer really helps in that matchup?
I don't know, but even without, I think Shaman is pretty favored against Druid.
Gotcha.
You mentioned that before your matches, you've been feeling kind of concerned about it. Where is that concern mostly coming from for you?
Because I spent a lot of time playing Hearthstone like these couple of weeks, and I didn't sleep much, and I just couldn't figure out the lineup where I could gain an edge. So I just went with 4 of the 5 playable decks pretty much again. So I'm pretty concerned every week because every week it seems like I can't find a solution to this matter.
Do you have any plans? I mean, we have 3 matches left for you, and I think that these are pretty crucial wins for you. This is something that's got to give here. What are you going to do to try to fix that measure and give yourself that edge?
Currently, I don't know. The best thing I can do is just submit 4 of the 5 decks and then just hope that I get the queue order right or play better.
Well, I thought you played that last game fantastically. You figured out a solid position. I really like that. So keep that up. Shouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I think you look pretty fantastic in this game.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, Psycho, thank you very much for your time. Looking forward to seeing you play your next match, and good luck in the remaining ones.
Yeah, thanks.